Part 34. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjaya Old Thief. Chapter 331. The crowd consciously made way for Yebai. Now, the entire summer camp knows that Yebai, the cunning man in Area C, has awakened his talent for the second time. He is no longer the C-level talented boy he used to be. To know. Back then, relying on his C-level talent, Yebai was able to overwhelm the entire C area. Wang Zheng, who was the strongest on paper in Area C, had suffered losses at the hands of Yebai more than once or twice. Now, Yebai, who has awakened for the second time, has evolved to the ultimate level. I wonder what harm he can do to Area C, no, the entire summer camp. Everyone made room for Yebai so that he could film the battle. There is a saying, although the situation is 50-50, the expert can tell at a glance who wins and who loses. Even under harsh conditions, using F-level talent to fight Zhaolin, Huo Tianyi was at an absolute advantage. Huo Tianyi didn't defeat Zhaolin directly because he hadn't forced out Zhaolin's full strength yet. If Zhaolin had the idea of hiding his trump card, Huo Tianyi would not be able to grow his talent even if he defeated Zhaolin. In this way, the two fought for a few more minutes, and after a duel, they distanced themselves. Zhaolin, who was about to lose, made up his mind to hide his trump card until the end. For Zhaolin, this is just an ordinary test between classmates, winning or losing is not important. With a C-level talent, losing is normal, but winning is a surprise. It would be foolish to use all the few cards you have. Huo Tianyi also saw Zhaolin's thoughts and snorted coldly. In just a moment, Huo Tianyi's murderous aura became stronger. Sprinting forward, Huo Tianyi abandoned the sword and punched the blade in Zhaolin's hand with his backhand. Violent shaking came, and Zhaolin felt his hand go numb, and the long knife unexpectedly slipped out of his hands. In an instant, Huo Tianyi finished grabbing the blade with his bare hands. Huo Tian held a long knife in one hand and said coldly, "You can't even hold a knife. Are your instructors useless?" Listening to the familiar bad breath, Yebai nodded slowly. Maybe having bad mouth is a hidden talent of the old Huo family, specially used to make people laugh. Facing Huo Tianyi's humiliation, feet remained unmoved. A certain instructor in charge of Zhaolin's weapons instruction began to curse. "I am an outstanding graduate of the 26th batch of Huo Ziying. When I was learning swordsmanship from King Huo Tianwang's apprentice, you were still playing in the mud." The instructor had a hot temper and shouted, "Boy, you are so crazy. Sign up." Huo Tian glanced at the other party and said his name. Huo Tianyi. After the separation from Madman Huo, Huo Tianyi's appearance changed a lot, and he no longer had that sluggish feeling. He has a stronger sense of youth, he usually has a stern face, and his temperament is completely different. The only similarity is that they have a bad mouth. Therefore, no one in Area C could recognize him for a while. When the words Huo Tianyi were spoken, everyone suddenly realized. Fuck, Shura. In the summer camp, the three words Huo Tianyi have been bound to Shura. The instructor who had been cursing just now suddenly lost his temper. It's not that he's afraid that the other party is Shura. What happened to Shura? Can Shura just call people trash? But Huo Tianyi's last name said everything. Shura can't scold him, but the Huo family is really qualified to scold him. The instructor blushed and nodded. You're right. He just had to say "I am a waste" written on his face. Watch carefully, hold the knife like this. Huo Tian held a long knife in one hand and slashed out more than a dozen cuts in an instant. The light of the knife was like snow. In an instant, Zhaolin's sleeves fell apart little by little, and his long sleeves turned into short sleeves. At the same time, Zhaolin was unscathed and only felt his little hands were cold. This level of swordsmanship is superb and unheard of. The most terrifying thing is that the prerequisite for Huo Tianyi to accomplish all this is to suppress his level and attributes to a lower level than Zhao Lin. The instructor responsible for guiding Zhao Lin shook his head secretly when he saw this scene. Even he can't do this. No, not only him, but even his instructor back then couldn't do it. This level of strength is almost on par with Huo Tianwang's registered disciples. The other party's surname is Huo, and the answer is self-evident. Zhao Lin's instructor sighed in his heart. This character seems to be carved from the same mold as King Huo Tian. It was so silent for a moment that you could hear a pin drop. Click. The flash flashed and Ye Bai pressed the shutter button. Zhao Lin, don't be so stiff, be shocked. Others are busy gasping and contributing to global warming. Only Ye Bai did not forget his original intention and focused on collecting Huo Tianyi's dark history. Huo Tian threw the long knife back in front of Zhao Lin, glanced at Ye Bai coldly, turned and left without saying anything. Xiaju also slipped out of the crowd and held Huo Tianyi's sleeve. Wait for me. Ye Bai stuffed the drone back into the storage space while catching up with Huo Tianyi. Xiao Huo, don't be so grim. Brother Bai is looking for you to make a fortune. Huo Tianyi glanced at Ye Bai coldly, said nothing, and continued walking forward. Xiaju's footsteps were a little stagnant, and he blinked his watery eyes and asked curiously. Brother Huo, if you get rich, can you buy things now, Brother Huo? Huo Tianyi's expression was 0.01 seconds stiff, and he quickly covered it up. But who is Ye Bai? He is a dignified SSS level talent holder. He can control an F level Xiao Huo. Isn't that easy? Pointing to the lounge nearby, Ye Bai said friendly. Don't worry, it's a win-win deal. Huo Tianyi snorted coldly, took Xiaju and walked to the lounge calmly, not forgetting to add. Let's go, take a rest. Entering the lounge, Ye Bai gradually revealed his true nature. If I guessed correctly, King Huo Tian should have left you a lot of money, right? Huo Tianyi said coldly. That's Xiaju's living expenses. Ye Bai nodded and said confidently. I knew that your character would never use the money Lao Huo left you. Today's Huo Tianyi is level 300, his talent is F level, and he doesn't have many resources. The key is that his arrogant character doesn't bother to use what King Huo Tianwang left for him. Back then, Madman Huo could fight his way to the throne, and so could he, Huo Tianyi. Even better than Madman Huo. Competing with himself, Huo Tianyi finally figured out how to add debuffs to himself. Young people are motivated and I support them 100%. Ye Bai said seriously. But you are not a fool. You know better than me how important resources are to growth. Why does Ye Bai have a greater need for money as he grows up? The Shura Haiguang series of materials requires hundreds of thousands of God of War meritorious deeds. The Force of Nature SSS level equipment, Clang, 600,000 God of War merits were smashed down. If you want to be strong, spend money first. Don't look at the fact that Ye Bai still has hundreds of thousands of God of War meritorious deeds at hand, but they are all gone in the blink of an eye. At this time, the importance of Xuemeng was revealed. Ye Bai can grab Xuemeng's wool, but Huo Tianyi can't. Tell me about your business. Huo Tianyi knew very well that cooperating with Shura would have both advantages and disadvantages for him. Overall, it should do more harm than good. But if you can leave all the disadvantages to Crazy Huo and keep all the benefits to yourself. Huo Tianyi doesn't mind cooperating with Shura. Ye Bai said slowly. It's like this. There is a senior swordsman who cannot be named. He should like to watch the video starring you. It's that kind of video between two people. There is no limit on the length. It just depends on how long you can last. It doesn't matter if there is a plot or not. Ye Bai briefly explained the conditions. In a word, sell Huo Tianyi's dark history to Lan Bangxian. However, This black history, in the hands of Lan Bangxian, is no longer Huo Tianyi's black history, but Madman Huo's dark history. After hearing Ye Bai's plan, Huo Tianyi was silent for a moment, and then said after a while. 5-5. Ye Bai emphasized. 50% is mine, and 50% is yours. Huo Tianyi was a little confused. Isn't this nonsense? Xiao Huo, if you agree. Ye Bai took out the camera again and said with great professionalism. Let's call Zhao Lin in, redesign the plot, and reshoot. Ye Bai is professional when it comes to making money. Huo Tianyi. He had an ominous premonition. Did you sell yourself for money? My work schedule has been reversed recently and I feel a little too sleepy. I'll go take a nap first. There is still one card left, so put it on Xuemeng's account. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjia Old Thief. Chapter 332. After Zhao Lin was pulled into the lounge by Ye Bai, he took the photo several times again. Looking at the final version of the short video, Ye Bai nodded with satisfaction. It's okay. It should be sold for a good price. Putting away the camera, Ye Bai did not avoid Zhao Lin and asked Huo Tianyi directly. How much are you going to pay the actors? Huo Tian was stunned for a moment. What? Do you want to give Zhao Lin some money? Ye Bai counted with Huo Tian on his fingers. There are costs involved in making short videos, right? Actors' fees, directors' fees, channel fees, promotion and marketing fees. Stop it. Huo Tianyi stopped Ye Bai's crazy algorithm and said bluntly. Don't go to such trouble, after all costs are deducted, we will split it half and half. And the cost cannot fall into your pocket. Ye Bai nodded in agreement, no problem. That's fair enough. Ye Bai looked at Zhao Lin and asked, how about I give you 50? 50 what? 50 gold coins is not a small amount of money for Zhao Lin now. Huo Tianyi frowned slightly, but did not interrupt. 50 God of War merits is a bit too much. Although Zhao Lin has a low level and poor talent, he has an optimistic personality and is very economical in spending money. Giving such a large amount of money to Zhao Lin rashly is not helping him, but harming him. Only. Huo Tianyi could tell that Zhao Lin and Ye Bai had a good relationship. Just 50 God of War meritorious deeds, just give them if you can. It's not his turn to dictate what Shuro wants to do. Zhao Lin waved his hand. No matter how big the deal, you have to pay for it. If you're out of town, just go back to the cafeteria and have a meal. Zhao Lin also gained a lot from his fight with Huo Tianyi. We classmates compete with each other, and talking about money hurts our feelings. Ye Bai interrupted Zhao Lin and said seriously. No one knows, watching Xiao Huo lose money makes me happier than making money myself. Huo Tianyi, are you also a human being? Is this really something a person can say? Ye Bai took out a card and stuffed it into Zhao Lin's hand. You must accept these 500,000 gold coins. Looking at the gold coins in his hand, Zhao Lin didn't react for a moment. This. Ye Bai whispered to him. This kid's family is extremely rich, and he didn't provide the money, so just accept it with peace of mind. That. Zhao Lin didn't know what to say for a moment because of the sudden windfall. He was stunned for a long time and said. Dabai, should I pay back the money I owe you first? In the previous windwalking/skill book, Zhao Lin gave Ye Bai an IOU of 10 million dragon coins, worth 10,000 gold coins. After getting the money, Zhao Lin's first reaction was to pay back the famine first. Then, find a bank to deposit? Facing Zhao Lin's request for repayment, Ye Bai shook his head and refused. Don't worry about the 10 million gold coins you owe me. We'll talk about it later. At first glance, Zhao Lin felt that there was nothing wrong with it. Thinking about it carefully, it seems that the problem is quite big. After settling Zhao Lin's performance fee, Ye Bai said hello to the two of them. Okay, I'll ask my master to help sell the short video first. If I sell it for a good price, I'll be rich. After saying that, he walked out of the lounge, found a place to rest, and contacted Senior Sword Immortal. Secretly taking out the Lone Wolf medal, Ye Bai entered a number and sent a message to Lan Bangxian. Ye Bai, Senior, are you here? Blue banished Immortal, busy, cutting down monsters. Ye Bai, Senior, this is a fresh short video that is of high quality and low price. Think about it? After waiting for more than 10 seconds, there was no reply from the other party, so Ye Bai entered again. Ye Bai, Senior, it's Huo Tianyi's short video. The message has been sent, but was rejected by the other party. Hiss. Ye Bai never expected that Lan Bangxian would directly block him. Fortunately, Ye Bai was already prepared. Open the sheepfold list and find the first person on the list, Shui Meng. Shura, brother Meng, a big deal to make money. Shui Meng, hello, I am away for something right now. I will contact you later. Shura, I swear in the name of Xiaoao that I will never cheat you this time. Shui Meng, tell me more. Shura, please give me a message to Senior Lan Bangxian. Regardless of whether the matter succeeds or not, I will give you 180,000 God of War meritorious service fees for running errands. Shui Meng, I'm on Uncle Ian's side. I'm open to the public. Just tell me. This. Ye Bai never expected that Shui Meng didn't even have to run errands, but just paid for the errands for free. In 3 words, Shura spent 180,000 on me. If too much wool is gathered, will a long-term illness lead to a cure? But that's okay. Everything is according to Ye Bai's plan. This 180,000 is deducted from the cost. In other words, it only contains Ye Bai's 90,000 God of War achievements. And Shui Meng received 180,000 God of War merits, 90% of which had to be handed over to Nightmare's adoptive father. Half of this will be divided into Shadows. Isn't Shadows funding just Ye Bai's money? In other words, 45% of the 180,000 yuan went directly back to Ye Bai. And the 90,000 that Huo Tianyi lost was a real loss. Don't forget, the money left in Shui Meng's hand will belong to Ye Bai sooner or later. Rounded down. Huo Tianyi lost blood, Ye Bai gained blood, and Shui Meng's will grew but was harvested again. The world where only Huo Tianyi was injured came true. Ye Bai cleared his throat and said seriously. Senior Lan Bangxian, I have here a black video of Huo Tianyi fighting a C-level talent for 300 rounds. After briefly introducing his goods, Ye Bai waited for the other party to make an offer. Lan Bangxian said without any fluctuation. I want it. Okay, it's time to negotiate the price. Ye Bai asked tentatively, you want to pay 800,000. This price is almost the limit of Ye Bai's imagination, and it is also the package price of the next few movies. No, I will pay 1.8 million. Lan Bangxian said straightforwardly. The more you sell, the more you shoot. 1.8 million to buy 3 videos. Ye Bai forced himself not to get too excited and agreed immediately. No problem. Ye Bai never expected it. If you bring capital into the group, just bring capital into the group. Ye Bai. In the 9th abyss, Lan Bangxian finished appreciating the newly released short video and nodded with satisfaction. Partia directly funded and let him film the series. As for the script of the second movie, Ye Bai doesn't need to worry about it at all. Lan Bangxian emphasized. Anyone who browses once will receive 1 silver coin as a gift. The last time he visited the Wanwu Pavilion auction house, he lost 600,000 God of War merits with just one hand. Shui Meng hesitated. The first film, the fledgling Huo Tianyi, fight C-class Xiao Zhaolin has been successfully completed. For the sake of Lan Bangxian's 1.8 million God of War meritorious deeds, Ye Bai endured it. Customized short movies belong to it. He almost has a shadow on Wanwu Pavilion. I made a short film of 1 episode. The happiness that Huo Tianwang's dark history brought to Lan Bangxian cannot be enjoyed by him alone. This money is well spent. Hang this video at the Wanwu Pavilion auction house. After negotiating the deal, Ye Bai received the first payment of 600,000 God of War merit. Lan Bangxian made a lot of requests, and Ye Bai wrote them down one by one. That's not good. Why are there people who bring money to join the group? The other leading actress wants to be named Lan. Forget it, I'll just send you her information. Ye Bai happily paid 180,000 to Xue Meng. With the remaining 420,000 God of War merits, Ye Bai happily returned to the lounge and started to share the money with Huo Tian. He glanced at Xue Meng beside him and said. Lan Bangxian said seriously. The dark history of King Huo Tian was taken over by Lan Bangxian. The last point. Anyway, it was not him, Ye Bai, who was beaten, so there was nothing to be afraid of. He wanted the whole world to know. Go and send this video to Wanwu Pavilion. 600,000 God of War meritorious deeds, Lan Bangxian readily paid. Let Madman Huo fight against a guy with B-level talent. Both sides must use 3 or more weapons. Madman Huo cannot speak during the whole process. He is allowed to cry out in pain when he is beaten. Lan Bangxian made all the arrangements himself. The price of blood. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 333. Area C, Training Hall. In the lounge, there were 3 cups of tea on the table. Ye Bai, Huo Tianyi, and Xiaoju sat down respectively. The spoils sharing meeting officially begins. We each have half of the 420,000 God of War's merits. Ye Bai handed over a card with 210,000 God of War merits stored on it. As soon as Huo Tian took the card, he didn't put it into his pocket immediately. Instead, he put the card on the table. Huo Tian kept saying straightforwardly. Tell me, how are you going to get the 210,000 back from me? Ye Bai said with a smile. Look what you said, if I rob openly, wouldn't I become a bandit? Huo Tianyi sneered disdainfully. He. Please start your performance. Ye Bai was also unambiguous and said frankly. I got the money, Xiao Huo, you are not a greedy person, you always have to spend it. It's just money spent on a few things. Ye Bai counted on his fingers. Open the Eternal Sea. Your level is still low now. The key is that your talent is too low. There is no need to open the Eternal Sea in advance. Huo Tianyi did not shy away and nodded in agreement with Ye Bai's statement. He plans to upgrade his talent to SS level first, and then open up the Eternal Sea. You certainly don't lack skills. You don't need them either, teacher. Ye Bai continued to calculate. Then there's only one place you need to spend money, equipment. It's a coincidence, isn't it? Ye Bai spread his hands and showed a simple and honest smile. I happen to have a forging master at home, the one you almost killed before. Do you remember? Ye Bai heard Xue Meng mention the unhappiness between King Huo Tian and Master Fool. The equipment Huo Tianyi wanted to get his hands on was not available on the market, so he had to find someone to order it. The top forging masters of the 2 clans are in Shura's exclusive space. Huo Tianyi silently pushed the card forward a few centimeters. Ye Bai reached out to take the card, but Huo Tianyi held the card down and did not let go immediately. As soon as Huo Tian set out his conditions. I want a spear. Ye Bai nodded and asked. How many rounds of ammunition, what is the firepower requirement, and is your handedness left or right? Huo Tianyi. I'm talking about a cold weapons spear. Huo Tianyi made a bunch of requests. Ye Bai picked his ears and didn't hear a word. Are you questioning the value of my SSS level talent? Ye Bai straightened his back and asked. What equipment do you need most? Do you know better than me? Hiss. This time, it was Huo Tianyi's turn to be silent. What Shura said makes sense. As soon as Huo Tian let go of his hand, 210,000 God of War merits returned to Ye Bai's arms. We are in business. In fact, I am a regular customer of Wanwu Pavilion. I like fair transactions the most. Ye Bai said seriously. The material fee will be deducted from here. The forging fee is 30% of the material fee, and the design fee is 15% of the material fee. Are there any questions? No problem. Even Huo Tianyi, who has a bad mouth, has no objection to this statement. In other words, the equipment customized by Huo Tianyi is full of gold content. The design is personally designed by Huo Tianyi using the SSS level talent Eye of Insight. The forging is sponsored for free by the strongest forging master of the two clans, Master Fool. Naturally, the materials must be chosen to be of the highest quality. For SSS level equipment, you basically don't need to consider this. Even Ye Bai only has 2 pieces of equipment of this level. A battle-damaged version of Nightmare Wind, and a reforged Force of Nature. The equipment ordered by Huo Tianyi will be the best among SS level equipment, comparable to the Fang Tian painted halberd in Xuemeng's hand. After accepting Huo Tianyi's 210,000 God of War meritorious service, Ye Bai did not forget to remind him. This money is definitely not enough. I will let you know after the general budget is released. New. By making a short video, Ye Bai earned 420,000 God of War merits, plus his original more than 400,000 God of War merits. Xuemeng gave Ye Bai 600,000 yuan last time, invested 550,000 yuan in the Force of Nature, and had 50,000 yuan left. In total, Ye Bai has a total of 895,614.37 God of War merit points. One step closer to achieving the feat of 1,000,000 God of War. Unconsciously, Ye Bai's wealth has accumulated to a terrifying level. Ye Bai knew very well that even though he was making money, he was happy. It really takes time, and the speed is terrifying. There are a total of 6 elements to maintain in the Shura Sea. With Shadow Source here, we cannot talk about the film system for now. Heart of the Ocean can last until Ye Bai reaches level 600. Series 4 materials cost real money, plus the existence of Curse of Sea Cucumber 2.0. The upper limit is doubled, and the material consumption is doubled. For every step forward, Ye Bai had to pay 16 times the cost of an ordinary person. Others spent 100,000, but Ye Bai spent 1.6 million. Thinking of this, Ye Bai felt that the money he had not yet kept warm seemed to be leaving him again. Can't think about this. After putting the money away, Ye Bai looked at Huo Tianyi. A money tree is nothing but a money tree. Huo Tianyi is the real money tree. Ye Bai said seriously. Xiao Huo, should I call Zhao Lin in and fight you with all my strength? Huo Tianyi said coldly, I have no money. All the money he earned just now went into the pocket of the guy in front of him. Although, the money spent is indeed worth it. Money can be earned at any time. A top-notch SS level weapon, comparable to Fang Tian's painted halberd and Heavenly King's sword. Value can never be measured in terms of money. Moreover, looking at the world, it can only be purchased here in Shura. What's more, the price Ye Bai offered was not only not outrageous, it was even very fair. Look at what you said, as if I've lost my sights on money. Ye Bai said righteously. Even if I fell in love with money, Zhao Lin didn't fall in love with it. Huo Tianyi was stunned. That makes sense. Huo Tianyi. Be alert. Wait a minute, isn't there a trap here? It's not that Huo Tianyi is too cautious. Rather, I have dealt with Shura a lot. No matter what the other party did, Huo Tianyi felt that he would be cheated. You look down on people, don't you? Ye Bai patiently explained. You forgot that in the information I wrote for you, as your talent grows, the opponents you defeat will also gain some benefits. I see. Zhao Lin and Ye Bai have a very good relationship. It is normal for Zhao Lin to think of Zhao Lin first when something good happens. As soon as Huo Tian heard Ye Bai's explanation, he subconsciously wanted to say, I need more money. The moment this idea came up, he felt ashamed of himself. Huo Tianyi, how could you degenerate to be like Shura? Do you have any sense of shame? Is money that important? Huo Tianyi had a coffin-like face and snorted coldly. I forgot. It's the same for everyone. I just need to grow my talent and don't care who my opponent is. Listening to Huo Tianyi's harsh words, Ye Bai thought thoughtfully and followed the other person's words. Then I'll do it. Huo Tianyi. He played 3 games with Ye Bai. 3 games, all lost. With his current F-level talent, he is really no match for Ye Bai. Ye Bai ignored Huo Tianyi and walked out of the lounge, shouting. Zhao Lin, come on, Huo Tianyi said he would beat you again, with all his strength. Zhao Lin. Is this human language? Anyway, Zhao Lin is going to get beaten every day. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 334. Training Hall. Zhao Lin walked into the lounge anxiously, preparing to be beaten. In addition to Ye Bai and Huo Tianyi, there was a simple and honest middle-aged man in the lounge. When Zhao Lin entered the lounge, the surrounding space was slightly distorted, white bones stood upright in the void, forming a cage, and the rules quietly changed. This bone space is similar to the killing space. Both sides can attack as much as they want, but no one can be killed in such a fight. Feeling the changes around him, Huo Tianyi frowned in disgust. Huo Tian turned his head and looked at the strong man, his eyes full of murderous intent. When I become the god of war, I will help Lao Ju tidy up the house. The house was dirty and messy, and there were too many shady things. The strong man chuckled and didn't take it seriously. Zhao Lin understood the value of Tongtian war god without understanding a word. Ye Bai raised his eyebrows slightly. Although Huo Tianyi and Madman Huo separated, they each lived their own lives. But Huo Tian's disgust and hatred for monsters were obvious, and he wanted to eat their flesh and drink their blood. According to Huo Tianyi, Third Master Ying is indeed from the demon clan. Ye Bai felt a headache. Master Ju, you can just run away to the abyss. Why did you send a top monster to protect me personally? This is because he hopes that Ye Bai will die soon and play mahjong with Master Ju below, right? All must die. Ye Bai sighed and pretended not to understand anything. Open one eye, close one eye, and it will pass. Today's Ye Bai needs the protection of top experts. He couldn't invite Lan Bangxian, Xue Meng, and Tian Wangjian couldn't deal with it, Su Qingfeng was too weak, and Lu Qinjiao had to guard the Eternal Forest. None of the top human race experts that Ye Bai was familiar with could protect him. Even leaving aside Master Ying's mental state. Second Master Ying is also from the demon clan. If you must choose one among the monster bodyguards, Ye Baining chose someone with a normal mind. Anyway, Ye Bai couldn't win now. Even before the fighting started, the air was filled with the smell of gunpowder. As the referee of this fight, Ye Bai did not forget to remind Huo Tianyi. Zhao Lin will attack with all his strength in a moment. Be careful, don't get hacked to death by Zhao Lin. Huo Tianyi glanced at Ye Bai coldly, his eyes full of disdain. Ye Bai ignored the other party's cold eyes and said in a voice that Zhao Lin couldn't hear. You just offended the third master. Believe me, although third master can't kill you with his own hands, he definitely doesn't mind killing you with Zhao Lin's hands. If Huo Tian is inferior to others in fighting, he will be killed by Zhao Lin. At the moment before Huo Tianyi's death, Ying San undoes the distortion of the rules of space, and Huo Tianyi's fake death will become a real death. Huo Tianyi's biggest backer is King Huo Tianyi. If King Huo Tianyi knew that Huo Tianyi died in such an aggrieved manner, he would not only not be able to avenge Huo Tianyi, but also, he might even eat Huo Tianyi's tribute in one sitting, then dig out Huo Tianyi's ashes from the grave, mix his urine with rice and feed it to the dogs. Such a shameful guy has nothing to do with him, crazy Huo. Directly expel Huo Tianyi from Huoji. Huo Tianyi understood what Ye Bai meant. After finishing the pre-war ideological work for Huo Tianyi, Ye Bai ran to Zhao Lin to support the fire. Old Zhao, Huo Tianyi is very strong, super strong. Ye Bai emphasized, this fight is very important to you. Zhao Lin asked cautiously, you mean, I want to win? No, I mean, you have to lose gracefully. Ye Bai repeatedly warned. Go all out, throw the king bomb when you come up, don't hide any trump cards. Zhao Lin nodded heavily, understanding what Ye Bai meant. He took out 2 long knives and held them in his hands. The second sword is Zhao Lin's biggest trump card. On weekdays, Zhao Lin only uses one knife, whether it is fighting or climbing through the Eternal Tower. Only in boss battles and single-player dungeons will Zhao Lin use the other one. With 2 swords in hand, I have the world. Players from both sides are ready. Ye Bai was almost furious and retreated to the sidelines, looking forward to the next performance. Camera, in position. Zhao Lin held 2 swords in his hands and closed his eyes. When he opened his eyes again, he rushed forward at super fast speed, slashing with both swords. Before Zhao Lin could slash with his sword, a fist appeared in front of Zhao Lin's eyes, magnified infinitely, and finally occupied his entire field of vision. Facing Zhao Lin, who is going all out, Huo Tianyi responded with a punch. Black Coffin. Boom. Hey Coffin punched Zhao Lin on the spot. Hiss. Ye Bai never expected that Huo Tian would throw Wang Jia at him as soon as he came up. The dignified Huo Tianyi, in a fight with a sea-level talent, starts with a black coffin. You are still a master of boxing. You are full of martial virtue. After finishing his anger, Ye Bai put away the memory card, and at the same time did not forget to send a message to Lan Bangxian. Senior, freshly released video. Huo Tianyi used this trick when faced with sea-level talent. What the great demon god and sea-level talents have in common is that they will die if they hit the black coffin. I have to say that Ye Bai has figured out the aspect of clickbait. While Ye Bai was gathering wool, the talents of Huo Tianyi and Zhao Lin began to slowly change. 200,000. Not long after the message was sent, Lan Bangxian quickly replied with a number. Lan Lao, blue sky. After rebirth, Huo Tianyi is a brand new soul and has nothing to do with Madman Huo. Money and goods are cleared. Huo Tianyi's talent may not be accidental, but carefully designed. Hiss. Ye Bai suddenly realized. Lan Lao, who was delayed by his F-level talent, is undoubtedly the most unfortunate one. King Huo Tian's mind doesn't seem that stupid. What if Huo Tianyi would not have died in King Huo Tianyi's plan initially? Blue banished immortal's wool is a bit too long. In King Huo Tian's original plan, why has it suddenly become so easy to make money? The stepping stone that was defeated by Huo Tianyi can actually grow in talent, which is a very strange attribute. Ye Bai looked at the 200,000 God of War merits he received and felt a little emotional for a moment. Ye Bai noticed this when he checked Huo Tianyi's talent before. The only price paid was Madman Huo's life. At that time, Ye Bai didn't think much about it. Huo Tianyi met the conditions for talent growth, and his F-level talent was upgraded to C-level talent. Kill 3 birds with 1 stone. Huo Tianyi's talent number 1 in the world was tampered with by King Huo Tianyi. Seeing that Zhao Lin's talent was growing, Ye Bai gradually tasted something different. The F-level number 1 in the world can only grow by defeating other talents. When growing, it will also make stepping stones grow. At the same time, Zhao Lin's talent actually grew as well. This is the last gift from the foul-mouthed old man to his old friend. But if Shura hadn't come out of nowhere to help Lan Lao awaken 3 times. Ye Bai's eyes lit up and he immediately thought of a key figure. He successfully delivered the last punch and exchanged lives with the great demon god. As Huo Tianyi grows up, he can also think of ways to drive Mr. Lan to become stronger together. Then, Huo Tianyi relied on Xiaoju to be reborn. King Huo Tianyi's plan not only helped the human race get rid of the great demon, a serious problem, but also left behind the genius seed of Huo Tianyi, who also helped Lan Lao. At the same time, Lan Lao and Huo Tianwang have a good relationship, very good. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 335. Ye Bai thought. If an F-level player fights an F-level player, will he still be able to grow? Able. The Eye of Insight, solving doubts online. You can also grow by defeating talents of the same level. Huo Tianyi's F-level talent is essentially F-, the lowest level. Lan Tiankai's F-level talent is essentially F, mid-range. I see. Ye Bai suddenly realized and understood immediately. It turns out that my talent is SSS-, the lowest level. No wonder my hips are stretched so much. Thanks to the Eye of Insight, Ye Bai's doubts during this period were solved. Haha, SSS+++ talent, I won't accept any refutation. Ye Bai could scold Tanyan like this all day long. While the two were scolding each other, Huo Tianyi took the lead in completing the growth of his talent. However, Huo Tianyi still doesn't know about the talent. He could only look at Ye Bai. Ye Bai was very generous. He directly took paper and pen and wrote to Huo Tianyi. Ye Bai still expects Huo Tianyi to make money. Every time Huo Tianyi's talent grows, it is a high-quality short video. At worst, it can sell 600,000 God of War meritorious deeds. Of these 600,000 miles, Ye Bai can get a full 600,000 yuan. Ye Bai helped Huo Tianyi answer his doubts about talent, treating it as a bonus item for the wool harvesting. It's like giving away a free roll for a hair transplant. After all, permed hair will look thicker and less bald. Talent, number 1 in the world, C level. Talent effect. Not afraid of difficulties, against enemies whose talent level is higher than your own, damage add 15%. Remarkable courage, against enemies with a higher level than yourself, all attributes add 15%, damage taken minus 15%. Overview, against enemies whose level/talent is lower than yours, all attributes will be add 50%, damage will be add 50%, and damage taken minus 50%. At the end of writing, Ye Bai had question marks on his head. The look he looked at Huo Tianyi was full of disdain and contempt. Good guy, you finally understand how to bully the weak and fear the strong. Ye Bai never expected that Huo Tianyi not only inherited Madman Huo's bad breath, but also learned how to bully the weak and fear the strong. What a bullshit talent number 1 in the world, the full name should be bullying the weak and fearing the strong, number 1 in the world. Facing high-level and high-level enemies, Huo Tianyi is not afraid of difficulties and has commendable courage. Once faced with a soft persimmon, he became stunned. This talent is pure abuse. Should he say it or not, Ye Bai realized something else. Xiao Huo, your talent is a bit like a supermodel, right? Now the number 1 in the world, although he is rank C level, his actual strength has exceeded B level. Ye Bai believed it if he said it was an A level talent. Huo Tianyi snorted coldly and did not explain anything to Ye Bai. For him, the lower the level of talent, the greater the room for growth. When number one in the world grows into an SS level talent, apart from the perverts of SSS level talent, Huo Tianyi will be the real number one in the world. I almost forgot, except for Xue Meng. Huo Tianyi knew very well that even if his talent had fully grown, he would not be able to match Xue Meng at the same level. After finishing their work here, there was new news on Zhao Lin's side. After his talent grew, he immediately fell into a coma and passed out. Ye Bai glanced at it and shook his head. It's nothing serious, it's just the after effects of Black Coffin's punch. Zhao Lin's talent advanced from C level to A level in one breath. Logically speaking, Huo Tianyi advanced from F level to C level, crossing the two thresholds of E and D. As a stepping stone for Huo Tianyi, Zhao Lin's talent has the opportunity to rush from C level to S level. Unfortunately, Zhao Lin's starting point is still a little too low. He was equivalent to rising from the lowest level of C level talent to the highest level of A level talent. Under the gaze of the eye of insight, Zhao Lin's talent was displayed in front of Ye Bai. Soul out of body, level A soul affinity at 100%, can leave the body in the form of a spirit body for a period of time. All skills can be released in the form of soul, causing mental damage. Zhao Lin's talent has both high upper and lower limits. The lower limit is that if Zhao Lin takes action and the enemy is stronger than him in the soul system, he will be killed instantly. At that time, it will not be that the soul leaves the body, but that the body is brought back to the court. The upper limit is that while doing a good job in protection, Zhao Lin can grow into the best assassin and killer. At the same time, Zhao Lin, who is a warrior, has good melee capabilities. Both have bloomed and belong to Yes. From C-level talent to A-level talent, Zhao Lin's future achievements have improved by more than one level. At the same time, a new problem also appeared in front of Ye Bai. The stronger Zhao Lin is, the more dangerous he will be in the future. The strongest will bring misfortune to those around them. Xue Meng understands this very well. Zhao Lin is a good brother, he can get along well, and he really wants to pay back the money he owes. Huo Tian saw the worry in Ye Bai's eyes and said disdainfully, "Just worry about yourself." After speaking, his tone softened a little, looked at the unconscious Zhao Lin, and shook his head. Everyone should have the opportunity to choose their own destiny, even if it is unfair. Ye Bai glanced at Huo Tianyi in surprise. "Who did you hear this from?" These words obviously went beyond Huo Tianyi's cultural level. After a moment of silence, Huo Tian said the man's name. "Nightmare." In the mighty abyss. The two figures were running away wildly, and behind them were chasing a group of monsters that were as powerful as the demon god. "Crazy Huo, you are a traitor, you want to kill your father, right?" As Yingju fled, he kept using his sword to push back the monsters behind him. These monsters are all phantoms of the aura that overflows when the most powerful demon is sleeping. They have no consciousness and only know how to attack all foreign creatures. "Shut up." Madman Huo smashed the head of a monster with one punch and roared. "How do I know that that boy's talent has grown so quickly?" The two of them had been lurking near a cliff somewhere, trying to sneak into a secret place. Suddenly, Madman Huo's body shone brightly and he instantly became the most handsome boy in the room, attracting the attention of countless monsters. This put the two of them into the embarrassing situation of being hunted. Yingju introduced. "Crazy Huo, after 9 deaths, can you still use it? Let me be healthy." "But..." Madman Huo regained a little energy, with pride written all over his face. Yingju in the black mist suddenly asked. "There is such a good thing." "Wait, what is this?" "Go to bed, Xue Meng owes you 2 updates. The old thief has helped everyone remember it, so he can't escape." The two of them were refreshed and put their heads in front of the screen, looking at the familiar shopping interface of Wanwu Pavilion. Madman Huo's aura rose from the bottom to the top, and he punched countless times in an instant, killing all the monsters on the spot. Madman Huo frowned, thought for a moment, and nodded, yes. What a good thing. Laoju, what are you fussing about? The latest antenna developed by Wanwu Pavilion is said to be able to connect to Wanwu Pavilion's cloud app even in the abyss, but it sometimes works but sometimes doesn't work. After narrow death is triggered, there are side effects, including a long period of weakness. The boy I left behind at Blue Star has already completed the first growth of his talent and brought glory to me, Lao Huo. Go to hell you. As the two of them spoke, the screen on Yingju's palm became bright. Madman Huo sighed. There is no cooling time for talent triggering. Although talent triggering has side effects. Precious video of Huo Tianwang's battle with sea-level talents in his early years, 1 silver coin added each time you watch. In a hidden cave. Connected. However, don't think about taking this opportunity to sneak attack on Madman Huo. As long as Madman Huo never regrets, he can always trigger 9 deaths without regrets. Yingju's fingertips crossed the screen and clicked on a title. 9 deaths without regrets. Ignoring Madman Huo's boasting, Yingju struggled for a long time and finally pieced together a radar. After getting rid of the monsters, Madman Huo entered a period of weakness. Yingju hugged him and left quickly to prevent more monsters from gathering. Yingju slashed down with a sword, instantly beating Madman Huo to the point of being seriously injured and on the verge of death. I've been dead for so many years, and technology is developing so fast, I feel like I can't keep up with the times. Madman Huo was so angry that he was slowly recovering from his injuries, and his whole body was extremely depressed. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 336. Summer Camp, Area C. Training Hall. In the lounge, Yebai was holding a tablet and browsing the Wanwu Pavilion shopping app. Xiaju, come and watch, you will get a silver coin for every time you watch this video. Yebai invited Xiaju to watch the video and opened the comment area. Huh. There is a comment that has been pinned to the top of the comment section. Anonymous user, Lan Bangxian, when I come back, you haven't broken through to the God of War, so wait for death. Although there are not many likes, this comment has a lot of comments. Most people are lamenting. Even the deputy commander of the Traceless Legion dared to name him and scold him. Anonymous is brave. The most amazing thing is that this comment was pinned to the top by the consigner. The second comment in the comment area is also an inexplicable comment. Anonymous Yingju, thief son, well done. Yeah, bye. You are hiding your loneliness anonymously. Etc. Yebai immediately realized, are Zhu and Huo Tianwan connected to the internet? He quickly took the trading secret realm pass and contacted the goblin brother. Zhao Qian quickly responded. Fourth brother, Master Zhu, and the others did connect to the Wanwu Pavilion app in the Abyss of the Strongest. They watched a video, and then King Huo Tian wrote an 8,000-word article without repetition, and greeted Lan Bangxian. Seeing the goblin boy's reply, Yebai said with an iron heart. These two old guys, aren't this a delay? After finally getting online, I didn't do anything serious and just cursed people. If you think about it carefully, you can understand it. Master Zhu and the others are in the abyss of power. They can't get anything they buy, and they can't sell anything. The signal is spotty and offline most of the time. The two of them watched the Wanwu app to relieve their boredom at most. Thinking of this, Yebai felt that the burden on his shoulders was a little heavier. For the spiritual, cultural, and entertainment needs of these two people, Yebai Media, are bound to make more and better short videos to serve the public and entertain the public. Thinking of this, Yabai felt that he was instantly great. Huo Tianyi, who shoots short videos for free, is like a living bodhisattva. Yabai did not forget to shout to Huo Tianyi. Xiao Huo, that video sold for 200,000 yuan, so your 100,000 yuan will be recorded in the equipment and materials fee first. New. Before lunchtime, Yabai's exclusive space sent a message. Is the force of nature going to be recast? Yabai's eyes lit up and his face was filled with joy. With SSS level equipment, I have spent 550,000 God of War merits on my own, and it's finally the harvest season. Xiaozu can borrow it from his brother for a while. With that said, Yabai lifted up the two ears of Dracula Pig and disappeared from the spot. In an exclusive space. One person, one vampire, stood in the sky. Master, do you know how I came here these 2 days? Dracula screamed. I either eat or sleep every day, play games with the child, and watch two bears chopping down trees with him. As he spoke, Dracula's voice gradually weakened. He suddenly discovered something. Being a pig is pretty good. Compared with my previous adventure experience with the Demon Lord. Being a pig is probably a beautiful thing. Dracula couldn't tell for a moment whether it was the Demon Lord who was too outrageous or whether he was too outrageous. Stop talking nonsense, go shake it, and I'll treat you. Yabai glanced at it and found that the force of nature was still a few minutes away, so he checked the money tree first. Following Yabai's instructions, Dracula came to the money tree and shook it with his hand. A golden apple fell into his hand. Golden apple, S-level prop, when the intelligence attribute is less than 100,000, it can increase the intelligence attribute by 1,000 points after taking it. At the same time, it can remove some toxins from the blood. Hiss. Dracula looked at the golden apple, his eyes filled with desire. But Dracula knew it. This tree belongs to the Demon Lord, and the thing shaken out also belongs to the Demon Lord. Even his vampire belongs to the Demon Lord. He can't take what the Demon Lord doesn't give him. Yabai glanced at the golden apple. It's a good thing, but it's a waste. Yabai's intelligence attribute exceeds 100,000, and there are no toxins in his blood. After playing with it for a while, Yabai threw the apple back to Dracula. This is your bodyguard fee for the next period of time. Xiaoju needs a playmate and a security guard. Although Dracula's strength is average, he can still resist beatings. If there is any danger, it won't be a big problem for him to be the first to attack. Thank you, Master. Dracula took the apple and swallowed it without even chewing. At that time, there was a riot in the Blood River, and all the powerful vampires were polluted to varying degrees, which has caused trouble to this day. There was absolutely no way he could get rid of the poison in Dracula's bloodline by himself. As a special item born from the money tree, the golden apple can help Dracula remove toxins. After the golden apple fell into his stomach, Dracula farted loudly. He said with excitement on his face, Master, guess what happened? Yabai glanced at him with disgust, took 2 steps to the side, and asked. Is the big one coming? No. Dracula ignored the topic and said enthusiastically. I remembered the true origin of that old guy. I don't have time to listen to your stories right now. Yabai interrupted coldly, signaling Dracula to stay away. You go take a shower first, change your clothes, and when the power of nature comes out, you can lie to me again. Dracula. As you wish. Dracula turned into a bat and farted as he flew towards the castle of night. If the exhaust gas exceeds the standard, it is a yes. Boom. Not long after Dracula left, the entire exclusive space shook slightly. A black shadow flew out from the Shura Sea and fell directly into Yabai's hands, still carrying residual warmth. Wood type, thunder type, water type, shadow type. The SSS level equipment made of 4 series materials has gone through many twists and turns and cost Schumann countless wool. Finally, at this moment, it's done. Yep, I couldn't wait to open the properties panel. Equipment, power of nature, leave 300. Grade, SSS grade. Ability power, 36,000. Attributes, intelligence add 150,000, spirit add 90,000. Entry. Level adaptation, improved as the level of Shura C increases. Exclusive to Shura, when Shura holds this equipment, all attributes add 100%. Thunder and Wood Twins, the effect of Thunder/Wood spells is add 100%. When releasing Thunder spells, specify the Wood spells to be released, and vice versa. Ice Barrier, when holding the equipment, an ice barrier is automatically generated to resist the damage of the next attack. An ice barrier is generated every 12 hours. Shadow Source Castle, summons a Shadow Source Castle. The shadows in the castle gain special status, and corresponding materials are consumed during the summoning process. Hiss. Looking at the power of nature after recasting, Yebai took a deep breath and felt his scalp numb. There are only 4 words to describe this SSS level equipment. So scary. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 337. Seeing the power of nature after recasting, Yebai was very satisfied. Needless to say about the attributes, there are 150,000 intellectual attributes and 90,000 spiritual attributes. This is what SSS level equipment should look like. In addition to the power of nature, Yebai also saw 2 pieces of SSS level equipment. One is the Nightmare Wind in him. Even battle-damaged versions of SSS level equipment can instantly kill SS level equipment. The other piece is the Black Coffin of King Huotian. Yebai just remembered why Huotianwan could only summon 6 armors. The coffin has only 6 boards. Huotianwang's Black Coffin can offset 1 damage during battle, and will be completely immune to this type of damage for a period of time. This alone is enough to make Yebai jealous. Each piece of SSS level equipment consumes massive resources and brings huge benefits. If it were not for limited production capacity, the top warrior in the human race has absolutely 1 piece of SSS level equipment in his hands. The most difficult part of creating SSS level equipment is the forger. Historically, there have been no more than 10 pieces of SSS level equipment produced by the human race's forging masters. Some SSS level equipment is also placed in special areas to control the situation. There are very few that can really be allocated to the top experts of the human race. Not even the Tongtian god of war can guarantee that everyone will have a piece of SSS level equipment. No matter how weak the Tongtian god of war is, he can match Xuemeng's limit in a fight to the death. What's more, Xuemengui is the adopted son of 2 powerful men, Xueju's only bloodline, and the sledgehammer he uses is only SS level. Like SSS level equipment, even if it is built, there are conditions for its use. For example, force of nature. Even if Yebai throws it to others, he cannot use it. Yebai took away Nightmare Wind from the Eternal Forest. Why does this battle-damaged version of SSS level equipment keep gathering dust in the Eternal Forest? Because no one can take it away except the Nightmare. Xuemeng couldn't even handle the SS level Heavenly King Sword. When the equipment is powerful enough, it is not the people who choose the equipment, but the equipment that chooses the people. Of the 5 entries on the force of nature, the first 2 need not be said much. One increases the level of the power of nature, and the other increases all attributes. The third Thunderwood Twins can be regarded as a unique feature of the power of nature. Ice Barrier. This entry is Yebai's favorite. 1 layer every 12 hours, 1 layer can resist 1 damage. 2 floors a day, only 60 floors a month. An entry that looks quite powerful will actually be defeated by some skills. For example, 5 lightning whips, thorn whip, fire red candle. Skills that can cause sustained and multiple damage can easily remove these barriers. But this does not hinder Yebai's love for ice barrier. One more thing is better than one thing to protect your life, never too little. The last entry, Shadow Source Castle, Yebai didn't understand its function for the time being. When you have free time, pull the strong man in the shadow to experiment. Overall, Yebai was very satisfied with the power of nature. Every penny Xuemeng spent was not wasted. It was all used by Yebai for the power of nature. Putting away the power of nature, Yebai looked at Master Fool and hesitated to speak. Master Fool was obviously in a bad mood and asked directly. Anything else? Yebai is very frank. What should I do with the money you owe me? Master Fool's voice rose an octave and shouted, since when do I owe you money? Yebai calculated carefully. This time the force of nature is recast, a lot of trouble will come out. This account must be settled carefully, right? Speaking of this, Master Fool's face turned cold. She knew she was in the wrong and had no excuse. Then what do you think we should do? Yebai came up with a plan that he had prepared a long time ago. You help me build another SS level weapon, and this debt will be wiped off. Building can. Master Fool is very principled. I can hit whatever I like, use it as much as I like, and don't have to pull it down. She's not stupid either. If you really let Shuro lead the way, you will have to help count the money if you are sold. There are two types of business dealings with the most powerful. One is to do business with Wuhan. What price does the second brother offer and what goods do you want to buy? The Fool Master is not qualified to say no. Okay. No. That would be punishment. Okay. Then there will be no punishment. In short, if it doesn't work, you'll be punished, if it works, you won't be punished. It's that simple. The other way is to do business with Shura. The important thing is, ask for a high price and pay back the money. Yebai also understands it very well. My fists are not big enough and I cannot convince others with my strength. Then we can only find ways to convince people with reason. I went to the abyss before. Yebai suddenly said. The great demon god gave me the first abyss. Fool Master? Real or fake? Yebai nodded, it's fake, I lied to you. Fool Master. The fragments of the fourth abyss will soon be connected to my exclusive space. Yebai knew very well what Master Fool wanted. If you help me build this equipment, I will accompany you on a trip to the fourth abyss. These plate fragments of the fourth abyss are the harvest of the last human race war. It was purified until recently and then sent to Yebai. The Fool Master hesitated and tried to gain more chips. I also want to go to the first abyss. Yebai rolled his eyes. Would you like me to bring all the abyss plates together so you can visit them all at once? Master Fool, really? You said humans don't lie to demons. Yebai said angrily. Change it to a condition I can agree to. That. The Fool Master looked around and his eyes fell on the money tree. I want to shake the money tree. Before Yebai could speak, Master Fool added. Anything you shake out belongs to me. Yebai was silent for a moment. It doesn't sound like he's going to lose money. To be on the safe side, Yebai took the initiative and asked. I would like to ask, what is your luck value? Master Fool's face darkened and he didn't answer. Obviously, this question touched on a sore point for her. Yebai suddenly felt that things were interesting. It can't be one, right? Seeing Master Fool's reaction, Yebai continued to guess, 0. Damn it, it can't be a negative number. Master Fool's reaction meant he didn't run away. The Fool Master whose lucky value is a negative number. No wonder the process of creating force of nature is so bumpy, there's a reason. Hurry up. Yebai pulled Master Fool and ran all the way to the money tree, asking everyone in line to stay back. Today is an eye-opener. Yabai gave up the stage to Master Fool and made a gesture of invitation. Whatever you shake out is yours. There's a technical gaming term for the goofball master, the mat. In a lottery-like event like the money tree, it's always a good idea to put a cushion on it. The Fool master felt insulted. She stretched out her hand and shook the money tree. Then, ding dong. The sound of coins falling to the ground is pleasant to the ear. Under the spotlight, the Fool master, whose lucky value was negative, successfully rolled out half a copper coin. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjaya Old Thief. Chapter 338. The idiot master on the stage looked confused. Yabai and others in the audience burst into applause. Applause. Everyone applaud me. Yabai shouted. To celebrate the Fool master shaking out half a copper coin, I announce that the money tree will be free for 24 hours only. Although 10 silver coins is not much, it is still money. The boss pays, everyone contributes, and the Master Fool makes a fool of himself. Looking at half a copper coin, Master Fool snorted and walked away. Why are you so anxious? Yabai first picked up half a copper coin on the ground, put it into his wallet, and then caught up with the Fool Master. Let me tell you about the building requirements in detail. The two stood in front of the forging furnace, and Yabai gave a list. The Fool Master just glanced at it and immediately gave a professional judgment. The materials of 400,000 God of War merits are enough, and the finished product can be regarded as a first-class existence in the SS class. Etc. Yabai interrupted Master Fool and said dissatisfiedly. Why is the material fee only 400,000? Do you look down on my Shura's wallet? According to the agreement between Yabai and Huo Tianyi, Huo Tianyi is responsible for the material costs. Forging fee plus design fee, the total material fee is 45%. In short, the higher the material cost, the more money Yabai can earn. True second-hand dealers make the difference. Take a closer look and see if there is anything that can be strengthened. Yabai pointed to the demand list and asked. Is there something wrong with your business ability? The Forge Master can't say no. It's too cheap, right? Master Fool also became angry. He pointed at an item on the demand list and said. Come on, the physical attack power will be add 5%, and the material cost will be 30,000 more God of War merits. Here, reduce the durability loss by 8 percentage points and replace the materials with an extra 60,000 God of War merits. And here, replace all the materials of the gun head, use the most expensive and best ones, 100,000 God of War merits can't stop it. After spending this time together, Master Fool knows very well what kind of character Shura is. This man is willing to spend money. But every time he spent money, it was like killing him. 400,000 yuan to build first-class SS level weapons, and more than 1 million yuan to build top-notch SS level weapons. Completely two concepts. Under Yabai's prodding, Master Fool came up with two plans. The most cost-effective version can be purchased for 400,000 yuan. It can be used up to level 989. Even Tongtian War God can use it. The Fool Master concluded. This is the version that only fools would choose. It starts at 1.3 million and is as good as the Heavenly King's sword. Even the God of War can stab the demon god with it. After saying that, she snorted coldly, turned and left. How to choose is Shura's own business. Looking at the final version, Yabai frowned. Why is it only 1.3 million, so cheap? Idiot, are you sure there is no place to add money? Fool Master. Now that things have happened, she has come back to her senses. This money is probably not from Shura. Seeing her piling up the budget to 1.3 million, Shura not only felt no pain, he was even a little excited. The Fool Master said abruptly. You shouldn't charge people for forging fees, right? Yabai nodded calmly, take it, it's still quite a lot. Obviously. He doesn't intend to give any of this money to Master Fool. Even the half-copper coin from before is now owned by Yabai. Anyway, this is the limit of what I can imagine. The idiot master spread his hands to show that he was powerless. Use the design and requirements created by your talent to spend more than 1 million God of War merit to create a piece of equipment. This kind of customized equipment is very risky. If the user gets stuck at a certain threshold, all the money will be wasted. Yabai was not worried about this. Don't worry, he will definitely become the God of War. Yabai still has confidence in Huo Tianyi's strength. Moreover, for the sake of sustainable harvesting of wool, the stronger Huo Tianyi is, the higher Yabai's profits will be. Right now, Huo Tianyi only needs to build equipment. From now on, wherever Huo Tianyi needs to spend money, he cannot avoid Yabai, the middleman. The wool of the God of War is particularly comfortable when rolled up. Master Fool still has the same attitude as before. Anyway, I have no other choice. It's up to you. Yabai pointed at the red tassel hanging next to the gun head on the design draft and asked. Can this thing be made into a hidden weapon, consumables, etc.? Master Fool frowned slightly and thought for a moment. It's possible, but is it necessary? What do you know? Yabai showed a smile. How can you make money by selling razors? How can you make money by selling razor blades? How can you make money by selling bullets if you sell guns? One-shot deal, that's not Yabai's style. The slow flow of water is a little too slow. Let's make arrangements first. I'll go back and ask Partia for their opinion. We'll get started when the funds are in place. Yabai still retained the last bottom line and did not make a decision for Huo Tianyi. Put all the design drafts in front of Huo Tianyi. Whichever one Xiao Huo likes, he will choose it. In this kind of big business, what matters is that one person is willing to kill and the other is willing to suffer. After taking care of the equipment, Yabai rushed to the basement of Evernight Castle without stopping. Here, the former Blood Prince is imprisoned. Originally, this prince had the strength of a 9th-level war god. As a result, in the previous fight, as a hidden weapon, he was killed by King Huo Tian with one punch. The prince who was resurrected from the dead continued to decline. When Yabai saw the other party, he only had the combat power of a 4th-level prince, which was level 935. Master, your humble servant is ready to confess everything he knows. In the dungeon, Dracula lit candles, sprinkled perfume, and thoughtfully moved a seat for Yabai. Tell me about it. Yabai sat on the seat, poured the red wine from the wine glass on the armrest into Dracula's glass, and took out a bottle of Coke to drink. He has to go to class today and cannot drink. The atmosphere and sense of ceremony are all in place. Dracula begins his performance. As you know, the most powerful being in the vampire clan is called the First Ancestor, also known as the Blood Ancestor. He failed when trying to break through, which led to the rampage of the River of Blood, which caused all the senior vampires to be contaminated and fell into chaos and madness. Dracula pursed his lips, suppressing his excitement to prevent his voice from shaking. There are some powerful beings in the vampire clan who are second only to the Blood Ancestors. Even I was in awe of them when I was at my peak, such as Cain. The Blood Prince in front of you is a powerful man from ancient times and is the direct bloodline of Cain. I am 100% sure that he has the blood of Cain flowing through him. Dracula showed a cruel smile and said sadly. Master, we can rely on this blood to summon Cain, and then. There is no need to say more about what follows. When a vampire falls into the hands of a demon lord, there is no other end than being sucked blood. The vampire prince, who was suppressed in the copper coffin, twitched when he heard Dracula's words and showed a strange smile. Yabai also laughed out loud. The dungeon was filled with a happy atmosphere for a while. Two powerful vampires and one powerful seed laughed at the same time. The things you laugh about are different. From the first moment Yebai stepped into the dungeon, he looked at the vampire prince in the copper coffin. The second awakening of the insightful eye revealed a little secret. A simple prompt popped up above the Blood Prince's head. Kane. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjaya Old Thief. Chapter 339. Some vampires are still laughing, but they don't know that they are pigs. Dracula only saw that the other party had the blood of Cain. But they didn't see that the blood prince suppressed in the copper coffin was Cain. Yebai yawned, his interest waned, and he waved his hand. Okay, you go and have a rest, and I'll have a chat with the prince alone. Okay. Dracula did not forget to close the door before leaving, and his attitude was particularly correct. After the intellectual low point in the field left, Cain suppressed his smile and looked at Yebai coldly. He tried to open his mouth to speak, but a cross wooden cone was stuck in his throat. Dracula knew how to deal with high-level vampires. Yebai had no intention of untying the other party's restraints. To be honest, after knowing the other party's true identity, Yebai wished he could add more crosses to it. Let's communicate using blood condensed into words. Yebai said frankly. You can do it. A drop of blood floated out from the copper coffin and condensed into the ancient writings of the vampire clan, which were obscure and difficult to understand. Cain, okay. If it were anyone else, facing this kind of text, Cain might be stumped. But who is Yebai? A dignified SSS-level talent owner. Isn't it easy to translate an ancient vampire text? Hee, that's all the use of Tan Yan. Yebai's expression did not change and he continued. Should I call you Cain, or Cain's great-great-grandson? Facing the second awakening of the Eye of Insight, Cain had no right to hide secrets. This old body is indeed a direct descendant of Cain, as Dracula said. He was also a strong vampire that Dracula knew back then. However, the soul does belong to Cain. Obviously, this is caused by some kind of secret method of the vampire family. In the same bloodline, the superior has unlimited control over the inferior. The blood in the air transformed into words again. Cain, I am Cain. Okay, follow your words. Yebai asked sincerely. Give me a reason to keep you squeezed. If it were another powerful vampire, Yebai would still consider squeezing him. For example, at Dracula's level, he is even slightly stronger than Dracula. Yebai can accept it? Cain. A little too strong. Even if his realm has declined, his strength is not as good as before. This kind of existence, thrown into Yebai's exclusive space, is a time bomb, and it might explode at some point. Keeping it will not be of much use and will also bring instability. It is better to take it directly to Wanwu Pavilion and sell it. How capable you are, how big of pants you can wear. A small horse and a big cart are not advisable. Cain was silent for a moment. The blood in the air changes shape again. This time, it was changed to human characters. Just from the change in words, we can see the change in Cain's attitude. He wanted to have a good talk with Yebai. Staying here would do more good than harm to Cain. He had a reason to stay. Cain, I can provide the blood of blood princes. Yebai shook his head, I'm not lacking. Cain, I am willing to sign a soul contract with you. Yebai shook his head again, I don't dare. Take the word coward to its extreme. Who is Cain? A strong man from the ancient times of the blood race, the existence that stabilized Dracula. The vampires have one specialty, the soul system. Cain can take the bodies of his own offspring, and he might also be able to manipulate the soul contract. 2 consecutive conditions were rejected, and Kane was speechless for a moment. After drinking the Coke in one gulp, Yabai stood up. I don't have much time, and I don't have time to waste on you. If there's nothing else, I'll leave first. Yabai gave Kane 2 chances. But the other party put forward some conditions that were not painful or itchy, and even wanted to secretly take advantage of Yin Yabai. If Kane didn't have greater sincerity, he could have hung up first. Anyway, Yabai will never lose. Kane's soul can be sold for a good price in the pavilion of all things. Wanwu Pavilion is different from Yabai in that it is a serious and fair transaction. Before Yabai could leave, Kane made a third offer. He also knew that this was his last chance. If you still can't offer conditions that make the other party's heart flutter, Kane, I can protect you from fatal injuries. Yabai raised his eyebrows and said, go on. Kane, after being summoned, I can transfer all attacks targeted at you to me. Sounds quite useful. Continue. Kane, my body is not owned by me. I can help you refine it into a vampire puppet. It has no self-awareness and is completely controlled by you. A vampire puppet with the strength of a 9th-level god of war? It sounds pretty good. Yabai asked nonchalantly, can you also refine other things into puppets? Kane, yes. Okay, I probably know what you can do for me. Yabai clapped his hands as a ceremony to welcome new members to the sheepfold. Just being able to be used as a human shield was enough to convince Yabai to keep Kane. Let me briefly tell you about the benefits we have here. Yabai showed a kind smile and introduced enthusiastically. Because Dracula knows that trust is hard won. Otherwise. But if you were a vampire, after following this set of procedures, it would be good to be alive. Really humane. Considering that your living environment in the dungeon is relatively harsh, our place is still very humane. He had to give an unknown amount of blood to gain a little bit of trust. Oh, by the way, you can also participate in Shake for free every day, and I will pay for it on your behalf. After talking to Kane, Yabai stood up and pushed the door open. The old thief asked Shuemeng for everyone, and I will definitely return one tomorrow. This in itself is a form of trust. Yabai did not forget the money tree. Yabai didn't even know how he died by rashly trusting such a gloomy old monster. The 4th update is completed today. Resume your routine in the world, and go to sleep. Master, I heard everything clearly. Even the semi-prisoner Kane is no exception. Yabai wouldn't let him turn into a pig to protect Xiaoju. Yabai would never sell anything Kane shook out to him. You can enjoy 3 hours of sunbathing, 1 hour of holy water sauna bathing, and 15 minutes of episcopal purification every day. Did you hear clearly the conversation just now? Hearing these words, the corners of Kane's mouth twitched. Although Dracula is a bit greedy, he is still harmless. Yabai yawned lazily. Can't let it go to waste like this. Dracula naturally appeared behind Yabai, like a servant. Dracula bowed slightly, his brows and eyes were full of respect, and the corner of his mouth raised a sneer. Kane is not like Dracula. If Kane is allowed to protect Xiaoju. Standing at the door of the dungeon, Yabai stretched out, the sun was shining brightly. Yabai suspected that he could collect Kane's body when he came back. And Dracula lives up to that trust. You call this welfare benefits? The relationship between the two is still in the stage of using and being used, and every move is full of caution and calculation. In the exclusive space, everyone has to shake it. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 340. In a dedicated space. Yabai strolled casually in the territory, with Dracula accompanying him. Old pig, no, Dracula, I feel much more at ease when Xiaoju is with you. Dracula's expression remained unchanged and he nodded calmly. Live up to your expectations. Yabai stopped in front of the ice field and looked at a group of fishermen on the ice field who were fishing. The blue whale Blue also surfaced from time to time, holding a black ball on his head. This ball was given to Blue by the three-headed dog from hell. A blue whale was suddenly raised into a dolphin. Following Shura, Dracula could clearly feel that the demon lord was in a very bad mood. Due to the existence of the soul contract, Yabai can see through Dracula's heart through the eye of insight. Dracula could also feel Yabai's mood swings. I negotiated with Cain in the dungeon before. For a moment, the demon lord was really annoyed. Just kill something to vent your anger. It's a pity that Cain, this old guy, is too cunning. Feeling the overflowing murderous aura, he gets scared instantly. Otherwise, Dracula can be advantaged. The two of them walked forward along the ice field until they reached the depths where there was no human habitation. The demon lord stopped and looked at the vast expanse of white with an indifferent expression. Yabai casually broke off an ice skate, threw it to Dracula, and clapped his hands again. Okay, everything is settled at home, and the matter with Master Jew is over. In the next period of time, I don't have to think about anything else, I just feel at ease and become stronger. Ju broke into the abyss of power and forced Yabai and Xiaoao to postpone their plans for 10 years. This is Master Ju's plan. 10 years. Fart. Yabai knows one thing very well, Xiaoao cannot wait 10 years. This man always does things as he pleases. After Master Ju left, Xiaoao is really Xiaoao. Although I don't know what means Ju used to temporarily trap Xiaoao. But there is absolutely no person or thing in this world who can trap Xiaoao for 10 years. When Xiaoao wants to go to an appointment to fight the most powerful demon god, he will go to the appointment. If Xiaoao does not go to the mountain will come to Xiaoao. Yabai didn't have 10 years to slowly upgrade. He must seize the time to become stronger before he can catch the last train between Xiaoao and the most powerful demon. At least it needs the frontal strength of a 9th level war god. This is how Yabai sets goals for himself. If even Su Qingfeng couldn't defeat him, Yabai would be seeking death if he dared to show his face on the battlefield. After figuring this out and having a new goal, Yabai put aside other distractions. The irritability that had been lingering in my heart was swept away. Exhaling a breath of turbid air, Yabai stamped his feet, full of energy, and left the exclusive space, leaving Dracula where he was. Click. After Yabai left, the ice in front of Dracula began to disintegrate and crack. A terrifying gully appeared, and countless layers of ice fell into the water. This wave of waves spread far away and even formed a mini tsunami in front of the fishing village. Everything that happened before him was just because the man was in a bad mood and wanted to relax. Dracula stood upright on a piece of ice, drifting with the current, without even swinging the corners of his clothes, like a sculpture. His eyes were sinister, his expression was cold, and he whispered. The demon lord has become stronger again. After leaving the exclusive space, Yabai went to the secret trading realm again. After finding the goblin brother, Yabai handed over a list. Give me 4 copies of the fire-type Eternal Sea materials according to the list. His Shura Sea now only has fire and wind elements that have not grown. Yabai had harvested fire-based void fragments before, so he had to fuse the fire-based materials first, and then the fire-based void fragments. If the steps are wrong, Yabai will spend a lot of money. The goblin boy quickly prepared the materials and hesitantly reported a number. A total of 210,000 God of War merits. Swipe your card. Yabai took out the card that was supposed to be Huo Tianyi's and quickly spent 210,000 God of War merits. Wealth value plummets. Fortunately, the wool came from Huo Tianyi, so Yabai didn't feel so distressed for a while. Shura paid so neatly that the goblin boy was stunned. Is this still the Shura he knew? Until Shura's figure disappeared into the secret realm of the transaction, the goblin boy had not yet recovered. Get the materials and throw them into the Shura. For the next time, Ye Bai just had to wait. He is now level 300, and is about to climb the 28th floor of the Eternal Tower, which is the 4th time he has transferred to the Secret Realm. Before changing jobs for the 4th time, Ye Bai had better change the fire system to the Void Fire system. In this way, you can gather the wool of Vulcan. That old guy from Poseidon is so picky and ungrateful. While in class, Ye Bai calculated in his mind. After you transfer to level 300, you will have the opportunity to get the 29th layer of leaves. It has been some time since his card reached the 5's rating of level 20. Counting the days, the 5's rating on the 30th floor can also be arranged. After the afternoon class, second Master Ying came to see Ye Bai. The bad woman said openly. Fourth Master, there is nothing wrong with Xiaoliu. Ye Bai didn't believe it and motioned for the other party to continue talking. The bad man spoke. Lu Qingjian's memories have only been sealed 4 times. Logically speaking, there is no delay in breaking through to the God of War. It's because he subconsciously doesn't want to break through. I asked Zhongshan about this, and he said you can ask Xue Meng. Ye Bai couldn't help but rolled his eyes. You are leaving the Matryoshka dolls here. Okay, I get it. Ye Bai nodded. I'll go find Xue Meng and ask him face to face when I have time. Lu Qingjian, Lu Qingjio. There are more secrets about the Lu brothers than Ye Bai imagined. When he went to suture the abyss, Master Zhu sent Lu Qingjio to protect Ye Bai. Now it seems that things are not as simple as they appear. Because Lao Lu had suffered a little, Ye Bai still had to help him when he needed help. Besides, Lao Liu's breakthrough to the God of War was also beneficial to Ye Bai. No Eternity Pearl. Fortunately, technology is now advanced, and there are training chambers that can maintain body functions. Ye Bai threw the fire void fragment into the Shura and was immediately swallowed by the Shura. He rushed back to his exclusive space and prepared to throw the fire void fragments into the Shura. Ye Bai complained. Master Fool stood aside and said coldly. However, the good news is that the longer it takes for the first soul to leave the body, the greater Xiaolin's potential in the future. After awakening out-of-body soul, Xiaolin has been in an out-of-body state. Ye Bai looked behind him and told Dracula. Go, push Cain up to bask in the moonlight, and let him open his eyes. Isn't that just food? Boom. The exclusive space shook slightly, the fire material was completely digested. More than 930 levels. Okay. Dracula quickly pushed up a copper coffin. Master Fool made an estimate and said seriously. Although, the ordinary God of War is no longer a threat to Ye Bai now. After throwing this thing in, powerful void monsters will come. What if Lao Zhao finally finds his way back and finds himself reduced to a skeleton, then the style of the painting is not quite right. After making sure that Xiaolin was okay, Ye Bai returned to the dormitory. Thunder. A crack opened in the void, and a huge monster that looked like a mantis rushed out, roaring and killing Ye Bai. Ye Bai turned his head, looked at Master Fool, and asked curiously. Late, 11:45. Under the red thunder and lightning, the corpse of the void monster was gone. The afternoon and evening classes flew by. Make final preparations for tonight's challenge. Such efficiency exceeded Ye Bai's expectations. Ye Bai also took the time to go to the hospital to see Xiaolin. That's it? The power of nature moved forward, Ye Bai said softly. As strong as the vampire in your dungeon, but without the Eternity Pearl. According to the doctor's diagnosis, Xiaolin has not yet found a way to return. Ye Bai stopped and asked, how strong is it?